If you want to make money, first thing, then
Can we say in the amount or?
probably made together like 7 figures maybe. We've had everyone, KSI, you name a big YouTuber, a big celebrity, rapper, artist, we've had everyone. Fake it till you make it. Always. Any advice? Fake it till you make it.
Being born and raised in Dubai, people
Yeah.
think, okay, he must have oil money.
I've been running an influencer marketing agency, or I've been doing influencer marketing since 8 years, since I was 13.
What 13-year-old thinks to himself, I'm going to start an influencer marketing agency?
For this term about high value male, I've always been someone who's tried to add as much value as I can to people. Do you think that people who buy Lamborghinis watch small vlogs?
No.
But that's the thing about brand awareness. It builds up. Now I have so many strategies. I've not revealed any of these ever publicly, fully, because I've never said
Hey,
this
I
before.
love it. You saved it for CEO.
If you're trying to build a community, the number one thing you can do is
My brother Ahmed, appreciate you coming on CEOCAST, bro.
pleasure is all mine. I'm super excited to be here.
I've been seeing your content for a while. Obviously, you've appeared on many YouTubers' videos from day one. I'm talking maybe almost 10 years ago now or something. And now,
been a while.
You know, alhamdulillah, we're in a position where we've connected, we've become friends for a while, met up a few times.
Now I finally made it to the CEOCAST.
Yeah, I knew what
It's
you
all
was,
leading up to this point.
I knew what you was doing, and then you told me your age, and I was just like, what? 21 years old, and you're doing this? You got to come on CEOCAST. So I'm glad you could be sat here right now in front of me to
The
talk about
pleasure
your
is
whole
mine.
story, bro.
The pleasure is mine. I have definitely, I feel like, probably not the most interesting story, definitely by far. It's pretty basic, but it's a lot of ups and downs.
Basic. Basic what? For Dubai, because Dubai is different. But for UK, yeah, different.
Yeah, a lot of ups and downs, but that's what makes a good storyline. For anyone watching out there who's going through something, this is the storyline, You should be very happy that you have the storyline. Because for those who have like a decent life, there's no storyline, right?
Look, everyone has a story. Everyone has ups and downs, and we're going to get into yours all in this.
Yeah.
But for the people who are watching this right now and thinking, I don't know who Ahmed is, but I want to know, how would you introduce yourself?
I'd say, first of all, I'm a man of value. That's the first and foremost. I try to be someone that you could say, before this term about high value male became a thing, I've always been someone who's tried to add as much value as I can to people.
Yep.
And in hopes that, law of reciprocity.
Yep.
Hopes that if you add something to someone else's life,
Something comes
they'd
up to your life.
they'd feel, and not obligated, but they'd feel like they should add something back to your life.
Yeah.
And it would not be very specific. I wouldn't tell them beforehand, like, I'm going to do this, so you do this.
Yeah.
You just give from your heart.
Yeah.
And if
Something
it comes
will come
back to you, it's like the law of karma necessarily. Like
Yeah,
that's
of
what
course, yeah.
the Buddhists believe it, right?
Yeah. The more you give, the more you get. That's the way we
Exactly.
look at it, even in Islamic view as well.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But business-wise,
In the Quran, it says, like, if you do an atom's worth of good, he will see it.
exactly.
An atom's worth, it says
Exactly.
in the Quran,
Business-wise, what do you do?
So business-wise, I do SaaS, which is interesting now because before I used to just have an agency and I used to be like marketing agency like everyone else. But now I can say, like, people ask me what I do, I just say SaaS. And like you asked me earlier, what's SaaS? So it sounds so cool when you say, like, I just do SaaS. But basically, I have a software that automates influencer marketing. It's called bookanyinfluencer.com. So whoever's watching this can check it out. It's a platform so I've been running an influencer marketing agency, or I've been doing influencer marketing since 8 years. Since I was 13, I did the first move influencer marketing. And I dealt with a lot of ups and downs. On my last podcast, I've only done 2 podcasts ever, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Strike it big in this one.
Yeah.
And my last
Shout out
podcast.
Strike It Big.
Yeah, actually Mike Thurston, 3.
Okay,
But
yeah.
all 3 like big ones, you know?
Yeah.
And it's all leading up to this point. I'm joking. But basically, on the Strike It Big podcast, I mentioned about my start to building the platform. And at that point, it was just the earlier stages. I had not built the platform or anything yet.
Yep.
And now, finally, alhamdulillah, the platform is ready. So basically, today, if you want to book a car, you can go on Uber, right? If you want to book an apartment, you can go on Airbnb. But when you want to book an influencer, you're emailing 10 different agencies.
Yep.
To try to
get
find
influence on
someone.
board,
Right. I was doing influencer marketing for 8 years, and I noticed that this business needs automation. So I decided, it's like, back in the day, this is very interesting. Back in the day, when you went to a grocery, you wouldn't walk around aisles, actually. You used to tell the guy what you want, and he used to bring it out to you. Do you know that? Fun fact.
That's got to be in Dubai, because in UK we used to walk
No, it was
around-
like that everywhere.
Is it?
As far as I know, department stores or like grocery stores, you'd tell the guy what you want to order, and he'd go in the back stores and find it for you.
Yeah.
You'd find like very old school jokes about it. If you're watching this, you can probably go ask your parents. But ages ago, that's how it was.
Yeah, no, we've never got that service in the UK.
No, I'm telling you, it was like that. I'm sure if you look up like ages ago, because I've seen UK parodies of it.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
you tell the guy what you want.
Yeah.
You'd say like cooked peas, and he'd go back in the store and get it.
Okay.
And this is interesting because I think it was the founder of Walmart or one of these guys who first came along and said, we're going to put aisles and people are going to walk. And people were like, what? You think people are going to walk around themselves and look through the products? Like, they want the service of like just telling you and you bring it. But he argued, no, people want to feel in control and people want to feel in power. So they want to see the different types of products. They want to feel like they have a choice, you know? So he decided to put them into aisles, and that was a revolutionary idea. The same way we feel like nowadays, if you're a company and you're booking an influencer, you're subject to the agency's recommendations.
Yeah.
As me, as an agency, I'm going to show you influencers. If you're a company approaching me, influencers are just people who have influence on social media. I'm going to show you influencers who I feel are easy to work with.
Yep.
For me personally.
Yep.
Which don't give me much headache. Or I'm going to show you influencers who I can make the most money on because their prices are relatively the cheapest. So it's non-objective, it's biased, and it's not maybe the perfect influencer for you. So what we did was we built a platform which has 280 million influencers. Basically every person...
280 million influencers.
Yeah. So across Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, every single person who has above 3,000 followers is on the platform automatically.
Yeah.
So we don't ask you to sign up. You're there. Like Raheem, you're there. Everyone who has above 3,000 followers is there automatically. And we've scraped, like, I cannot talk about how we've got the data, but your data is there with all your insights. So someone can go on and decide whether you're good for advertisements based on your demographics and see if their target demographics. Obviously, if I'm selling a certain service, I know what person buys my service. I know how old they are. I know where they're from. I know what gender they are. I know what you know.
So if I'm a company, I can find exactly what I want, basically, in terms of influencer.
And you put your target demographics, and then you view. So, for example, has it ever happened that a company would ask you, Raheem, I want to work with you, and then you'd say, okay, sure. They'd say, send me your insights.
Yeah.
And then you send your insights, right?
Yeah.
And then if it matches, either they're happy or oftentimes they're disappointed.
Yeah.
Because like it's a random luck, right?
Yeah,
and they have very niche criteria.
Of course.
So if they're disappointed, it's just trial and error, waste of time for no reason. Is there a point of someone having the best engagement rate and the best content if all their audience is in South America and you sell only in Dubai? No. So the first and foremost factor is their demographic, is their audience demographic the same as my target demographic? So on our platform, you put your target demographic, the ages, the gender, the country, and from there, it gives you the influence. And then from there, you can check the content, the engagement. You can filter by engagement rate, by content, by engagement, by followers. So then you can see it, because that's the first and foremost metric. And also, you're an honest guy. If today a company asks you for your insights, you'll send them a real insight. But what do you know? How do you know that? I've seen everything in influencer marketing. I've seen the same insights from two different people. Can you imagine? The same screenshot.
They're both using the same screenshot. It happens in this world.
Or they Photoshop it. Yeah. So you can't trust it. You can't trust anything. You need a third party to send you the insights that you can trust.
Yeah.
We are like a validation. You know, it's a monthly subscription as well. So it brings you, with software, the difference between software and agency, for those people who are wondering, with agency, you sell. And then when you get a deal, you work.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's a very hands-on business.
Right.
It has to be.
And let's say, for example, if I was working as an agent and I was handling your podcast, I would have to sell the slot of Raheem's. And then once I get the slot, I have to now work to actually add it. So you'd send me the video, I'd send you the script. You'd send me I'd help write the script. You'd send me the script. I'd get the client to approve it. Yep. Once the client, they make some edits, I come back to you. I make the edits.
Yep.
We make a contract. So it's a lot of work after I get the client on board. With software, I sell. And once they buy it, I can literally block them. Obviously, I wouldn't. But I could block them, let them deal with my customer support team. And I don't have to sell them. I don't have to do any work. I just give them login details. So they get login details to the platform, username and password, and they use the platform.
So who's the subscription service for? It's for the companies that want to work with influencers.
Only for like brands and big marketing agencies.
So I know you said there, don't ask you how you get the data. Yeah. But I need to ask, because even if you could give me some sort of insight, because to get that data, over 200 million people, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And if no one's actually physically signed up themselves, if you're saying I'm on there, and I haven't, admittedly, I haven't been on the website for you to get my data. So I want to know exactly what loopholes you've just discovered to put 200 million people worth of data on there. Because I think by now on this podcast, the audience knows that data is worth a lot of money and can be sold for X, like stupid amounts of money, right?
Yeah.
So I need to know where you got this data from. When you got to fire up your answer with all the coffee and the water together.
I just drank the coffee to tell you, brother, that's my secret sauce. It's never getting out. Because you see, the thing is, I would love to tell people how to get data, but it would make my platform redundant. And at the same point, I don't think I'm legally allowed to, just because I've signed NDAs with my... So we have certain strategies, and also we work with certain companies, and I really can't reveal anything to do with it.
Fair enough, bro. Well, as I said in the beginning of the podcast, you're 21 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to know where this all starts for you. You mentioned that you've been doing influencer marketing for 8 years now, so at 13 years old. What 13-year-old thinks to himself, I'm going to start an influencer marketing agency? So talk to me about your whole journey, bro.
Okay, so basically, I was in the masjid one day, as you know, praying Salat al-Maghrib, Jama'at, and by chance, I saw this family friend of mine who had a very well-known car showroom in Dubai at the time called Deals on Wheels. But at the time, it wasn't well-known.
Mm-hmm.
If you bought supercars, you knew it.
Yeah.
But other than that, you didn't know it. And at that time, if you went to a car showroom and you were a YouTuber, you walked inside and most likely the salesman would end up kicking you out. Because the salesman is there for his commission. He'd tell you want to buy a car or not. If you don't, get the fuck out.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Mind my language. But he doesn't care about your promotion to the showroom.
Yeah, it's true.
You're leaving fingerprints on the car, which he has to clean up later. You're touching the door.
They didn't understand the power of having a YouTuber there.
Nobody understood it.
Yeah.
So I went up to this relative and I was like, you're not doing marketing right. He was like, what?
This episode is sponsored by Fireaway Pizza, the fastest growing pizza company in the UK. With over 100 locations, you definitely have a store near you. The founder of Fireaway was on the show not too long ago, and you can get a slice of the action by using the discount code CEOCAST at fireaway.co.uk. Once again, use the discount code CEOCAST at fireaway.co.uk.
So was you, just a quick one, just to more understanding, more context.
Sure.
Was you actively watching YouTubers to see what content you want to see?
Yeah, I wasn't like researching for this specifically. That would be like genius. No, I was just a kid watching YouTube.
You must have just thought, how cool would it be to have a YouTuber go in there and check out the cars? That's
right,
the content
exactly,
you want to see.
Exactly. So I saw this YouTuber, Mo Vlogs.
Yep.
And so anyways,
Shout
I told
out
him,
Mo, good friend of ours. Yep.
you know. So he was like, I saw him online and I was like, you've probably seen the video. He said, a 13-year-old emailed me. Its video went viral. It has like 5 million views.
Yeah.
I got an email for a 13-year-old to ride a Bugatti. So I basically told this relative, like not relative, like family friend, very distant relative. I said to him, you're not doing marketing right. He looks down at me, a 13-year-old. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, there's so many content creators, influencers, YouTubers in Dubai. And we can invite them to the showroom, give them a round, a tour around the showroom.
Yep.
And we get free exposure from it because they're looking for content and we get free exposure from the channel. It's a win-win.
Well, you say, just going back to what you said there about Deals and Wheels not being that big. But I remember them being massive to a point where they were known in the UK as this amazing showroom in Dubai. So they had the name there.
Because of what we did.
Okay.
It wasn't at that point.
Okay. So this is before
I take pride in that, in the fact that you know it from UK. I'm like, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
I did a good job.
You did.
So that time, nobody knew them besides people who buy supercars. Because it wasn't online. Like you said, you were founded from social media. But why would they need to have social media? Do you think the people who are buying Lamborghinis are just like scrolling through? Do you think the people who buy Lamborghinis watches Mo Vlogs?
No.
Not much. It's usually a younger crowd. Not to say anything wrong with Mo Vlogs. Some probably do, but not the crowd.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about brand awareness. It builds up. That's what people used to say in the showroom as well. Like people say, why would you bring these small YouTubers? Why would you bring Logan Paul and Tyga and Kareem Benzema and all these other big names that we had in the showroom, Supercar Blondie? What's the point of all of these guys, We've had everyone, KSI, you name a big YouTuber, a big celebrity, rapper, artist, we've had everyone. And they'd say, why? Like the thing is, every kid out there has a dad, right? And they have an uncle, they have an older brother, whatever. And the thing is, at the time, I realized people have realized that when you have something that's being talked about a lot, it doesn't really matter who's talking about it. It gets attention from everyone eventually.
Of course.
That chatter builds up and more people come to see it later on. Like, for example, if me and you start talking about X and X subject, even if we're the only ones talking about it, we get like a club, people who don't even care about it will start listening to it.
Yeah.
So that's just how stuff grows. So we had these YouTubers come in. First he was like, let me finish the story. He was like, all right, fine. Do you know him? He's asked me, can you contact him? I was like, yeah. I actually had no idea how to contact him.
Yep.
But I was like, yeah. And then I said, okay, I'll figure out later. That's how life is. You say yes to an opportunity and you figure out later.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So that's what I did. I went online and I watched like 100 videos until I found one where he says like, guys, if you need a car, if you need to do a brand deal, reach out this email address. And I was like, bingo. And I emailed at 13. And that video got 20 million views. You can put I can even send you a video of him talking about the story.
Yeah.
And I'll show you the thumbnail. Like the video has 20 million views. So that was when this relative told me every celebrity bring them.
And once again, more context. How many followers did Mo have at the time as well?
500K.
Okay. So
So now he has 11
relatively
million.
big. Back then, that was big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But 11 million?
Yeah.
So it was just the beginning of his channel.
Yeah, of
I'd
course.
say definitely that the stuff me and Mo were doing in the early days,
Yeah.
I've arranged at least like 50 of his videos.
Okay,
At
sick.
least 50, probably a lot more.
You're pretty much the man behind Mo Vlogs.
No, relax. No. Most people say he's the man behind me, and he definitely is.
Yeah.
Obviously, I helped him a lot with a lot of videos
Yeah.
in the beginning, but I wasn't doing it because I liked his face.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
doing it because it benefited me. You know what I mean? He was a nice guy,
Yeah.
and we built together. That's how good friendships are. For me, by the way, I view everything as almost transactional. People think that that's unfair. You see, like most people, when they have a certain type of friend, maybe they like him because he's kind to them or he makes them laugh. I don't care about like laughing. I care about like
How can we benefit each other?
how can we
you add
benefit each
value
other?
for each other's
Yeah, and
lives?
I don't want to just benefit from him. No,
Yeah.
I want me to benefit him and him to benefit me. But
course,
that's
yeah.
there's something as a term called altruism.
Yeah.
Which is doing something with nothing. And if you ask a lot of wise people out there, they will tell you that nobody is truly altruistic. There's no such thing as a selfish. There's no such thing as a selfless good deed.
Yeah.
Everything we do somehow benefits us. You know, even for example, let me ask you a question: if you were brought up and your mom, God bless her soul, but let's say, for example, as you grew up, she never did anything for you. She never looked after you. She never fed you. She never cared about you. She never looked at you. You were a young kid, and she basically like didn't do anything for you. You lived together, but she didn't do anything for you. She'd almost like not thought about you. You'd probably end up leaving her and never looking back and cursing her till you end up dying. And nobody will tell you that's wrong. Nobody will tell you, bro, that's your mother. They'd
Yeah,
say
yeah.
like, what a stupid lady. Why didn't she look after you?
Yeah.
So even in that relationship, it was based on the fact that yes, even though she's your blood relative, she still had to nurture you for that many years. She
Of
still had to
course.
do that for you.
Yeah.
For you to end up liking her back.
Yep.
Every relationship, even like you have a dog, they say men are only loved on the basis they provide value, and women and dogs are the only ones that's not based on value. You only have a dog because it makes you feel good and it's cute. If your dog was ugly and smelly and it didn't like you,
Pisses
you would never
off.
have it.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You only have that dog that gives you attention when you feel sad, and comes and hugs you when you feel sad, and you know
Doesn't make sense otherwise.
that brings us some kind of value, and
Yeah.
it's like like we just give it a few snacks and we have like unlimited friend.
I've always,
it's a very selfish
I've
thing.
always said the same thing to people that I know, right? And that saying being, to me, blood doesn't mean much. It's all about the friendship and the relationship and bond you have with that person. So most of my brothers, who I call my brothers, aren't even blood related, but they are my brothers. And people that are blood related, yes, they're blood related, you know, we get along, all that sort of stuff. But I don't have the same connection I do with them that I have with my brothers who are, they know exactly who they are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it all comes down to the value they provide and the value I can provide them as well. So it goes hand in hand with one another.
Yeah, I don't know about that completely, because to be honest, for me, there's a difference. Like for me, like honestly, at this point, I realized like friends, they kind of come and go. I'm basically on the opposite, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
But I guess it just depends on your experience.
Yeah.
For my life, especially like living in Dubai, maybe you notice in Dubai, people come here, they want to make money and leave, or they want to make money, send it back to their country where their family lives. Extract money.
Do you know what's funny? We're going to get into the conversation later because I'm going to ask you more about Dubai. So let's tie this back to the later on conversation.
Okay.
But just to go back to it, at the point where you had brought Mo down to Deals and Wills, did
Yeah.
you understand that you had a business then?
No, I had
just
no idea
thought-
what I was doing.
yeah.
I just knew that I was making a rich person happy, and I was making a famous person rich somehow. Like I was making more views. I knew I was providing value to them,
Yeah.
and I knew that was somehow going to help me.
Did they pay Mo to come down or?
No.
Okay,
nothing.
so this is a free transaction.
Yeah, so it's called a barter deal in influencer
Yeah,
marketing, right?
yeah.
So that was the first influencer marketing deal. It was a barter deal, which is like an exchange of services, no payment done. And that was the beginning of it. But I made my first YouTube video that day at 13. So I wasn't dumb to just do it and not actually. That's another thing. People try to like do this game, but they don't like do the work actually.
Yeah.
It was not that I didn't make my first YouTube video when I was 13 that day as well and record my first vlog that ended up getting 60K views, which is not bad for your first YouTube video, 60K views.
Solid, bro.
My first YouTube video hit 60K views. I remember I told Mo to leave my description in his channel. Of course he did, because I just hooked him up with a 20 million view video.
yeah.
He left my description. I remember I went to school the next day. My YouTube channel, it had no banner, no profile picture, no name. So you know if you have a YouTube channel and you don't have a name, it just goes your email address.
Yeah, of course.
But it had 5,000 subscribers.
Oh, really? Okay. So
Overnight.
You hit a lick.
The
Yeah,
first
yeah.
day he dropped the video. Obviously from there I plateaued heavily. Like I never really grew much
Yeah.
because I realized if I was doing the videos, it was kind of like a conflict of interest that he was doing them and I was doing them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I kind of decided like, okay, I'm going to focus on Instagram. I grew my Instagram and he'd focus on YouTube videos. So whenever we'd go film, we had this mutual understanding that I'd make like Instagram clips and he'd make YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And I've arranged I'll give you a crazy story. One time I saw a car, it was on the road. It was a 6x6 road. Actually, no, sorry. I saw an Instagram story. I didn't see it. It was an Instagram story of a car on the road that was a 6x6 Rolls Royce.
Yep.
And I told Mo, I said like, bro, that car. I sent the story to Mo. He's like, we need to film it.
6x6 Rolls Royce.
Yeah, so it had 6 wheels.
Okay.
Insane.
Didn't even know that one exists.
It was a custom car, Dubai
Okay.
shit.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
must be. Yeah, Dubai shit.
And I was like,
says a lot.
yeah, I was like, he's like, bro, we need to film it. And I've at the best part, I've done many videos for Mo Vlogs, right? So yeah, long story short, I saw this Instagram story of a 6x6 Rolls Royce. I sent it to Mo. By this point, I had arranged a bunch of. The reason I was arranging these videos for Mo Vlogs, by the way, was because I was trying to help him with brand deals eventually.
Yep.
So in order to build a relationship with him, first I need to add value to him.
Yeah.
And also, every time we used to make a video, I used to be inside the video. It used to build my personal brand, etc.
Did you two have that conversation about you helping him with brand deals or anything early on, or?
No, not really. I always showed interest towards it, but I was always shy in the beginning to ask to get involved in it.
Yeah.
But then later on, it became a no-brainer just because I was in the right places. People had seen me with him,
Yeah.
so they knew they could contact him through me.
Yep.
And I'd already built a good relationship with him. So obviously, when we were doing content, we would do deals as well, but just barter deals, right? So like, we'd agree with certain places to film certain things. If Mo needed his cars wrapped, he would call me out. I arranged like twice all his cars to be wrapped by different companies. So I was already doing free deals with him anyways. So we built a relationship of knowing how to work together, you know?
Yeah, sick.
Yeah, and we managed a lot of his brand deals and stuff. A lot of it, like,
What,
you know.
even till today?
Yeah, definitely. Like, you know, very large percentage.
Yeah, no, makes sense. Before 13 years old,
We probably made together like, you know, good like 7 figures maybe.
well, you and Mo,
Yeah.
over the course of this time,
Yeah.
over 7 figures. Can we say an amount or?
Yeah,
what we're
like
talking?
I think we definitely, like, in terms of what I brought him, it's definitely crossed 7 figures.
But what is
Dollars.
What is 7 figures?
No, like early 7 figures. Very early 7 figures.
So
like,
talking
between 1 to 2
minimum
million.
$1 million.
Yeah, between $1 to $2 million.
That's a lot of money.
So we see the story of the car. I sent it to him. He's like, let's film it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, how the hell am I going to film this car? So I noticed on the car, the Rolls Royce was on a recovery truck. It was getting transported. Now, when I took a screenshot and I zoomed in. And when I zoomed in, I saw there was a number on the recovery truck that said, if this car, if am I driving safely?
Yeah.
If not, please call.
Yeah.
So I called that number, and lo and behold, the recovery manager picks up. And he's like, yes, this is blah, blah, transport company. I was like, bro, we're waiting for our car 30 minutes. Where's our car? He said, which car? I said, the Rolls Royce. We've been waiting. Where's the car?
Yeah.
He said, which recovery is it on? So I opened the picture of I didn't tell him, like, it's my car or anything.
Yeah.
I just started waiting for it.
Yeah.
So I try not to ever, like, lie directly. If
Yeah.
anything, it's like a white lie, you know?
Yeah.
But I
Make him seem like something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, where's the car? We're waiting for it. I didn't say who I was. I didn't say I own it or anything. He's like, which car? I was like, it's on your recovery truck. And I read to him the plate number on the recovery truck because I could see the plate number as well. So I read to him the plate number. He's like, oh, okay, this is my driver. Come here. I will give you his number. Come here. I was like, okay, give me his number. Let me call him now, brother. Fast.
Yeah.
He sends me his number. I call the guy. I'm like, brother, where are you? I've been waiting. He's like, sir, I dropped the car at the garage already. I said, which garage? I'm not here. I don't see the car. He's like, sir, I dropped it to that garage. Al Quds, the one you sent me to. And he sent me the location. And then I pulled up to that garage and I said, look, I have a value proposition to make you. You have this car. You're fixing it. We'll give you free exposure to your garage if you let us film this car. Blah, blah, blah. Made a deal. That guy said, look, I would do it, but I'm benefiting. You're benefiting. But what about the guy who owns the car?
Yeah.
So I said, all right, bring him involved as well. So we made sure that everyone benefited from it. In the end, we made a viral video with the 6x6 Rolls Royce. The guy who makes the cars, turns out he actually made it to sell it. So he was very happy. We did the car, and that was just.
Do you know if he sold it off the back of the video?
No, he actually, by the time the video, we set the date to film it, he had already sold it.
Okay, fair enough. So
But he wanted to promote his name for his next car.
Yeah.
So shout out to Danton Arts.
So his business
Customs.
was basically just building cars and selling like custom.
He
unique
built some
pieces.
crazy cars.
Yeah. Was he still around today? Like,
Yeah,
building cars?
Danton Arts Custom. I hope I didn't butcher your name, brother. If you're out there, I wish you all the best.
Yeah, they're sick.
Good guy.
So before you were 13 years old,
Yeah.
growing up in Dubai, being born and raised here, what was it like for you? Did you have any entrepreneurialism within you at that point before 13?
So I feel like in my life, I've seen a lot of money, but I wasn't necessarily in it. So a lot of people think I came from a rich family. Could not be further from the truth.
I think people automatically assume that being
Yeah,
born
yeah.
and raised in Dubai, people
Yeah.
think, okay, you must have oil money.
Yeah, you know, Dubai, they don't see like, there are people, like in UK, there's a minimum wage which is pretty high. In Dubai, there isn't necessarily a minimum wage, which is like a certain amount. And I'd say 100% there are people here in Dubai that live less than how much people in UK live off. You know, and there are some people here who really don't have money, a lot of money, you know. And there are some areas in Dubai, I'm sure you've seen, which are very like basic, normal, you know. And not to say it's like bad, but I'm just saying it's not all.
Yeah, it's not all Burj Khalifa on every single corner.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. It's not all like gold Rolls Royces.
of course. Yeah.
So we came from an area in Dubai called Satwa, and I still live near there till this day. But that's where I was born, and I don't want to call it the hood. People never believe there's a hood in like Dubai, but like it's like it's like pretty like mid part, like the basic of Dubai. Like basically like probably one of the most affordable places in Dubai you can find a house. Let's just say that, you know. Yeah. But alhamdulillah, my dad was a genius. Like he was so smart, and his story is also amazing. I could talk about him for a long time. You know, his father was an orphan.
Yeah.
When his father was like 10 years old, so he kind of like raised his brother himself. You know, he could never afford university, so he went to work, and every single dirham he got, he paid for his younger brother's university. My dad. So my dad taught me a lot of lessons. He took me to Tony Robbins' show when I was 17. You know Tony Robbins?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went there when I was 17. I was probably one of the youngest people there. And he always tried to put me on the right path of like self-improvement. He made me read Rich Dad Poor Dad when I was a kid. So he made me read a lot of books. My dad has read more books than your college professor, you know?
What did your dad do?
So many books. He has a small institute for math. It's like 2 classrooms and 2 teachers. And it's not like the biggest business. To be honest, my dad, he has had a bit of an unlucky career. He in real estate time, he was doing really well. Then it kind of it crashed. And so he kept getting unlucky in life, you know. It's tough. It's tough, you know, like, bro. Like some people, God blesses them through their kids, and I think, you know, I hope that I'm trying to live his dream, you know.
Was your dad born here as well? Or
my dad wasn't born here, but he moved here very young, you know, and his uncle paid for his school fees and stuff here because again, like I said, things were very tough for us when we first started. You know, when we first came here, we didn't have anything. So I mean, like my dad's time, and when I came, alhamdulillah, my dad provided me with a good amount. Obviously, nothing close. But I saw a lot of money around me, you know, even like relatives of mine. I felt like sometimes I would go to my cousin's house. I felt like, you know, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
I
used to feel, I used to watch Showcase. I used to feel like that, you know? Yeah. I'd go to their house and I'd be like, damn, like,
you know, I can imagine as well, especially at 13 and starting to work with Mo, and you're doing all these things like going to these amazing dealerships to see a Bugatti, whatever the case is. That's when you're really.
And I was pulling up in a Mitsubishi Pajero.
That's when it unlocks your mind.
Yeah.
To a different level, and then you think, okay, cool. How do I get this stuff?
Yeah.
How do I get this stuff?
Yeah. And I used to tell Mo, I used to take the train to come see you, and now we pull up in the same car. You know,
literally,
because you've seen our cars, the same car, and I used to come with the train like to see him. You know, so it's crazy that time moves. You know, and the funny thing is, when I was a kid, I did this thing called fake it till you make it. So I would act like this car owner, this Deals or Wheels, was my uncle. And he used to say I'm his nephew because it was a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
So I used to say he's my uncle, and I used to go around saying that. And the funny thing is, when I look back now, when I look back at that time, I was telling people that I was rich. Or I was trying to give that impression because I wanted to seem important. Because nobody would value me otherwise.
Of course, yeah.
You know, so I tried to seem important. People would drop me home, and I'd walk down the road to my real home. You know, like I did like crazy shit like that many times. I snuck into events, you know. So I remember I snuck into this event without a badge. And the guy was like, "Where's your badge?" I was like, "You know who I am?" Because I guess if you're not wearing a badge, it's either you don't have a pass, or you're so powerful you don't need to wear one.
Yeah. And how many times did that work?
I only did it one time. Yeah. So, anyways, I was like always like trying to fake it till I make it. And that's why I want to write a book about that. But the point is,
so you want to write a book about it as well?
Yeah. That whole journey.
Yeah.
It's the best thing you can do. Fake it till you make it. Always. Any advice? Fake it till you make it. So when I was a kid, I used to tell people that I had like good money and stuff. People only want to help you when they think you don't need it. Once you need help, nobody wants to help you.
Yeah.
So I used to act like I had money, and now they didn't believe me, by the way. And now when I come back and I say before I didn't have money, then I know before you had money. So people always not believe what you want. Like they'll always try to paint the opposite of what's the reality. You know,
the reality of things. Yeah.
So, but it's only now recently I posted videos from my childhood in the bunk bed, and I've posted videos of my house that people have finally begun to realize, okay, maybe this. And I still have more videos, by the way. It's gonna come out very soon. Like I have videos when I come out.
You need to release a whole documentary on your life.
Yeah. I have some videos like people see, they were like, no way, this is like your life, because people just don't believe me no matter what I do. You know, I want to do a podcast with my dad myself and we'll explain the story. You know,
bro, I'll tell you one thing. Yeah, when I first started CEOCAST, alhamdulillah, my dad's a very successful man in his rights. And it's always been an inspiration to see growing up. And so I remember when I started CEOCAST, I was like, listen, Dad, jump on the podcast, please. Like, I need guests, come on the podcast. And he was like, oh, wishy-washy about it. He didn't want to come on then. So I was like, fine, don't worry. Now he's asking me to come on the podcast. I'm like, listen, your time's passed, mate. Your time's passed.
No way, you won't have
the
him on
podcast
anymore. Yeah, he's a small guy compared to Andrew Tate.
Yeah,
and-
not even just that, but it's now CEOCAST is at a point where I wouldn't want my family on camera like that. Do you know what I mean? But before, back then, you're just thinking,
Yeah.
okay, you're a potential guest. My dad was a potential guest, which is crazy. But going back to it, school life and everything like that, did you have any sort of businesses going up, selling sweets in school, anything? How
Yeah.
did it work in Dubai?
Yeah, that's what I used to do, bro. Selling sweets. I used to sell lighters a lot. That was my thing. I used to find these butane lighters. They used to come like custom, like Burj Khalifa shape. You know?
Yeah.
And I used to sell those. And then I noticed that people were, like, when the lighter finished, they'd buy the lighter gas off me. So I started selling the lighter gas.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed at one point I was selling more gas than lighters. I was like, what's going on here? And I realized people were getting high from the lighter gas. You know, in Dubai, there's nothing you get high on.
Yeah.
So people were trying to get high off that. So I was like, what the
So
hell?
you didn't have oil money, you had gas money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I had the natural gas money, you know, the natural reserves. Yeah, so I sell the butane, and then I realized I was like, okay, I better stop because you don't know one person will die, and then I don't know what will happen
Yeah,
to me.
then
You know,
you- then
these
you're
are
in
just
big
high
trouble.
school kids. You know,
Yeah.
they don't know what they're doing with their
Yeah.
life. I was like, I never liked getting high or any of this stuff. You know, I've always been someone that wanted to be in control of my senses. If I was not in control, if I didn't feel like I knew what was going on in every situation, I didn't enjoy myself. Like, I always wanted to feel like at any moment I could do what I feel like doing. And if there was something that was stopping me from that, I would not enjoy it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, we'll talk about addiction and stuff later on. Not that I was addicted to anything like that, but in times when I did have any sort of substance, UK naturally you would, obviously not in Dubai, it's different. I've never liked it purely because I feel like that was a point where I was moving slow in life. I was in control, but just naturally become lazier. You're not on doing stuff. You're not active in entrepreneurship, whatever the case is. You're just really, really slow.
It
I
just
always say
brings
that to people
comfort.
now as
Why,
well.
why do people do it? Because it makes them feel good. It's
Yeah.
comfort, you know?
Yeah.
And even that, as little as the fact that it makes them feel good, is the reason to stop it.
Yeah.
Why should you feel good because you can afford a $5 joint? You know? You should be able to only feel good when you've accomplished something big, you know?
course.
So when people
Yeah.
talk about all, like, okay, weed doesn't have, it's natural. The point is that it gives you comfort for a cheap price. It's
Yeah.
cheap comfort.
Yeah.
Comfort shouldn't be cheap. Back in the day, you had to kill a lion to feel comfortable. You know, you kill a lion, you eat it, now you get to rest. And then you can impress one girl, you know? But nowadays, you you smoke a joint and you sit back on your couch and hours can just pass and you can feel good about your miserable, shitty life and not realize that you're just in a sinking ship and just gonna end up a loser. You know, you just don't care.
Bro, when you replace your dopamine for
Exactly.
achievement and you get dopamine from your achievements,
Exactly.
it's a next level feeling.
Exactly.
It's a next level feeling. Rather than getting it from eating chocolate or
Doom scrolling.
doing whatever the thing is and you're getting dopamine from that, doing an achievement that you've set out, hitting that goal, hitting that target, the
Exactly,
dopamine you
yeah.
get from that is unreal. It pushes you further to become the next level of yourself.
Yeah, nowadays there's
amazing.
too much dopamine, you know?
Yeah.
And when you get dopamine externally, your body produces less of it. So if your brain knows that you're gonna get a hit of dopamine every time you wake up when you, let's say, go for a smoke or when you pick up your phone, your body produces less. You can go on Google right now and search and look up the studies. People who smoke are naturally less happy than people who don't smoke, you know? This is online studies.
Yeah.
Anyone who smokes, and that's just talking about nicotine, by the way, is anyone who smokes is most likely to be less happy than people who smoke. People think that when you smoke, it reduces your stress. But actually, smoking does not reduce your stress. It only reduces the stress that it gave you in the first place. So it fixed that craving that the smoking itself gave you, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, for example, me saying, I love how it feels when I peel off a scab. So I take a mosquito, I bite myself with the mosquito, and then I peel off the scab, then I bite myself again. And I like the feeling of my skin feeling clean.
If that's an addiction you have, that's a weird addiction.
I know,
bro.
but the point I'm trying to make is your skin was chill before it. Like you didn't
Yeah.
have to give yourself that issue.
Yeah,
You know what I
of
mean?
course. Yeah.
Like you gave yourself a reason to feel stress, and then you fix, like, for example, when you get that craving, when you fix that craving of the nicotine, whatever problems you have in your life, you still have those same problems. None of those problems have gone away. If your mom is sick, your mom is still sick. If you have work that needs to be done, the work still needs to be done. None of the stress is gone. The only thing that's changed is that addiction that you gave yourself is removed. But none of the actual other things in your life are fixed. So it only released the stress that it gave you in the first. It only released the anxiety that it gave you in the
Yeah.
first place.
And with smoking,
You were fine without it.
yeah, with smoking, it gets to a point where it's not even stress or anything anymore. It's just literally because of the nicotine, you're addicted. And
Yeah.
that's the dangerous thing because then you're just literally just shortening your lifespan.
Yeah.
But going back to it, you stopped selling gas. What was the situation from that point onwards?
So then I started my own sneaker store.
So
I
really?
started,
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I had an
Yeah.
online Instagram sneaker store.
Yeah.
You can look it up today on Dubai. It's called sneakermania.dxb. You can look it up on Instagram. It's a page. If you scroll,
It's still active or?
yeah, it's still active. Nobody runs it anymore.
Yeah.
So it's dormant, but it's online. You could scroll down long enough and you'll find pictures of me selling shoes. We sold shoes in many exhibitions in Dubai. I used to wait in lines for sneakers.
Yeah.
I waited like overnight, 12 hours for a pair of shoes and then flipped it, But that's when I realized, like, that's when I moved from the sneakers to cars, because sneakers, a pair of sneakers, Yeezys, you can make, let's say, $100, $200. But on a car, you can make $1,000, $2,000. So I started to move to cars. But the first business was sneakers. Yeah, I remember, like, in one of Mo's birthday, I gave him, like, a pair of sneakers. And in the sneakers, I had a note. And when I knew he would open the video of the sneakers online. And that video still exists. And on the note, it says, it's from my company.
Oh, is it? Okay, sick. Yeah. Sick.
And then I said also, I'm giving away one online as well. So it was a full marketing stuff.
You understood marketing from time then.
Yeah.
So then transition it back to your marketing agency. What point did you realize it was a business?
Yeah, so when Deals on Wheels closed, Deals on Wheels closed at one point. And
What year is this then?
2016, I think.
Okay.
No, sorry, no, 2018.
Okay, how old would you have been then?
I don't know, 15 maybe.
Okay.
I realized, like, Deals on Wheels is closed, and I was like, oh my god, this is my whole plan was to set up here in Deals on Wheels and do like marketing for them. I didn't have a plan to do my own agency. I never actually had a job ever, but I thought that eventually I'd have a job there. But till now, I never had a salary in my life. But I was like, this is for sure what I'm gonna do. And it closed, and I was like, okay, I'm effed. I have nothing to do now. My life is over. But I was like, wait a minute, like if I made Deals on Wheels so popular, so much to the point where Raheem sitting in UK had seen it online, I was like, maybe I can do this for other companies, And that's when I decided like I'll do it for other companies online as well and stuff like that. And I already had a good network because I was selling cars, so I knew businessmen and I knew influencers, so I already knew the CEOs of the companies. Yeah,
literally.
Yeah.
But then when did you start charging for it? When did you realize, okay, cool, rather than doing, what was the term you said?
Barter.
Rather than doing a barter degree.
From day one, yeah, I was like, there's no real point in the barter deals. The barter deals are just to get the connection.
Yeah.
Once you have the connection, stop the barter, brother. Finish. No more barter.
So,
Pay deals only.
so do you remember your first deal that you done that was paid?
Yeah.
And can you talk about how much it was?
Yeah, I went to this. I used to buy sweets from the certain shop called Asir Time in Dubai. They have like 80 branches in UAE.
Yeah.
Turns out that small shop which I was buying from, the guy behind the cashier was the owner. And I was just nice to him because like I'm a people's person. And he had like 50 branches in Kuwait and Saudi before, but because it was his first branch in Dubai, he was himself behind the counter just because Dubai was new to him.
Yeah.
So he became behind the counter, and that was running itself in Saudi and Kuwait.
Yeah.
And he was like, he asked me what I was doing. I was telling him I was working in influence. He said, okay, I want one. I said, okay, bro, connect me with your boss. He said, brother, I am the boss. I was like, oh shit, nice, bro. Like, I was always nice to the guy regardless. So he was like, yeah, bring it. So I got 15,000 dirham per visit for this one influencer.
Per visit?
Yeah, my commission was 20%, 3,000 dirham per visit. He used to do like 4 visits a month.
Yeah.
So I was 16 and 15, and 4 times a month, I used to go to a sweet shop, eat some crepes and pancakes, and take like 3,000 each time. So over a month, I was making like
15,000 dirhams roughly.
Yeah.
For yourself on commission.
12,000 dirhams I was making.
Yeah. My maths is bad, sorry.
No, it's fine. 12,000 dirhams I was making and off commission. And I was living life. Like it would be like on my weekends. I was still in university at the time.
Yeah.
I actually graduated university. It was like my dad's dream for me to graduate. Like, some things are just not worth a fight with their parents. Like I understand like some people, they really want to quit. But if you're making a shit ton of money, okay, you can quit. But I wasn't making like a shit ton. I wasn't making like 100 US a month or anything like that, or like $1 million US. So it was not worth quitting. And I didn't want to fight with my parents, but in the end, I basically stayed in uni, but I just bought all my assignments.
Yeah.
So I found a way out. I never, like, in the last 3 years of uni, I didn't do one assignment.
What
I
did
went
you
to
study?
university like 3 days. Marketing.
Oh, okay. It must have helped, no, to some extent.
No, bro, it's useless.
Really?
Yeah, useless.
That's
I didn't learn
interesting.
anything
So
about
people
it.
should know that.
Yeah, bro, don't study marketing. If you want to study something that can get you a very high job in university, because the only good thing about a degree is a job. It doesn't give you any other help. So if you do it at something that gives you a high paying job. Marketing, every person who's not good at school has a marketing degree because it's the easiest degree.
Yeah.
So do something like law or do something like accounting or something very specialized.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but the curriculum and stuff for marketing is very outdated.
Yeah,
They're still
bro.
going to tell you to put billboards up on
Imagine.
bloody buildings and stuff like
Like
that.
when I went to marketing, they're telling me about layout of a website and for your website. And I was like, bro, I just paid some guy on Fiverr last week to make my website for me. Why am I listening? Why am I learning about how to make a website?
Yeah.
I already had a website, and also I didn't make it myself. Why would I make it? It cost me $40.
Yeah.
So
The skill set is different.
yeah.
So what was the point where you started to make some, I'm sure businesses started flowing at this point, you'd gone from 12,000 dirhams a month on commission. What was the point where you started actually picking up and doing some good figures? And I'm sure at this point as well, you would have, started working with other influencers as well as Mo.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
who was the influencer?
Yeah, so the one, the sweet shop wasn't with Mo. That was the first influencer I managed. His name is Dialer. I still my company still manages him to this day. Dialer, you can look up. It has like 4 million followers.
Yeah.
Or 5 million followers on Instagram. He's a Saudi Arabian YouTuber. He has 8 million on YouTube, which is very high. We still manage him to this day. And that's when I started working with more influencers, started doing bigger brand deals. Till now, like we work with a lot of big names in Dubai. If you know, not in Dubai, I mean like around the world, if you know Shein. Have you heard of Shein, the clothes?
I haven't. Oh, Shein.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So we do a lot of campaigns for them monthly, every month.
Is
We do
it?
campaigns
Okay.
for them, yeah. Shein, Procter & Gamble brands such as Head & Shoulders, Gillette. And the good things with these group of companies, if you work with one, it's easier to work with the others.
Yeah. Why is that?
Because same, like, they're like, okay, if my associate at this company trusted you, I'll trust you. Because
Okay.
they're like same owners, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, they don't have to do all the due diligence again. They already trust you. You proved yourself one time with one company.
Yeah. It works for them. Works for you.
Exactly. So we did Gillette, Head & Shoulders, and Colgate from Procter & Gamble, P&G. And they own like everything almost, Like people think when you go to the supermarket, you have choice between...
No, they own all of them.
It's all about
Yeah. They own all of them. So I suppose it's good in there for your business because once you've got that one connection for, let's just say, Colgate, you've already automatically got the connection for all these other companies and other
Yeah,
brands.
but to be very honest, full disclosure, I didn't work with them directly. I worked them through another agency.
Okay.
So that made it a bit difficult because in the beginning, I realized in the beginning when I first started the agency, I can't work with the big clients directly because they don't know me. I'm just a kid. I was just a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
But I went to the agencies and I told them, listen, you have the brands. I'm friends with the influencers. I can give you a better deal of the influencers than you get.
Yeah.
So that was my first start, So I only did it for agencies. And then eventually I built so Shein I work with directly now and like our company works with them. And now with the software, like alhamdulillah, like it's fully, like we're running a lot of deals passively,
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah,
So
people just pay monthly.
when and how did you start getting your own clients?
So I use LinkedIn a lot. So I have so many. LinkedIn is, if you have a marketing agency, the number one thing to do. So this is the steps I'll tell you. If you want to make money, first thing, agency. Then start selling your own service. So either software or Shopify, like dropshipping, because you need to start selling something that doesn't require you to work after you sell it. Like on Shopify, once I sell an item, I don't need to do anything for it. Once I've done the marketing, they press buy, money's in my account.
Yep.
There's no more work. You notice that? So that's when real money is made. Real service is you're still working a job. You're still doing a job for them, which means you're still an employee. You're no more than like an employee.
Yeah.
So agency, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the number one thing because you have all these big marketing managers who have big budgets. They have like hundreds of thousands of dollars they can just sign off, right? So if you have an agency, LinkedIn is your best way. Now I have so many strategies on LinkedIn. I've not revealed any of these ever publicly. I don't mind saying like 2 right now.
So we're
if you
getting
want.
exclusive right now.
Yeah, fully exclusive. I've never said this
I
before.
love it. You saved it for CEOCAST, the best podcast.
So basically, if you want to get good results on LinkedIn, I have 2 ideas for you. Number 1, this is crazy, but when I first started growing my LinkedIn and started to approach brands, I tried to reach out to companies I worked with to leave recommendations on my page. And sometimes they would, and sometimes they were too busy, they couldn't be bothered. And in any case, nobody was really seeing my page. Because if I had people seeing my page anyways, it's fine, I already have them on. I don't need to, they're already in my bag. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to reach new people. So I'd leave recommendations on their page. But my recommendation was 80% about myself and 20% about them on their page. But because people are so fond to getting positive feedback online, they'll put something on their page with just 20% which helps them, and the remaining 80% was just complimenting myself indirectly. But you have to be smart with it. So I'd say, for example, it was super refreshing to work on countless campaigns for Head & Shoulders. So first of all, in that message, I already said that I've done countless campaigns for them.
Yeah.
And I've said that it's refreshing to work with someone who actually knows influencer marketing, which means, in essence, that I know. Because I can't say that you know how to you know how to persuade someone if I don't understand. It takes one to know one, they say, right? So if I'm able to tell that you're able to persuade people, I know how to persuade people as well myself because I can see you're using the strategies, right? So I say it's so nice to work with someone who actually knows how to do influencer marketing because that means that I know. And I've worked on, it was so nice to do several campaigns with them. And I know that this person will have a very good career in front of them. And then you have to say like some shit like that just to make them happy. And that always used to get me clients because people would go on these big marketing managers' pages and they'd see like, oh, like they were doing influencer marketing to this guy, And they had like bunch more followers than I would ever have.
Yeah.
Let's say head marketing managers in big companies, right? So that's one way. The other way is when I first hired one of my first employees, I told him, connect with every one of my employees that didn't have that much work for him. I told him, go on LinkedIn and just connect with as many marketing managers as you can. So I was like, max limit reach. He told me, he's like, bro, I'm finished at max limit. I got premium. So I paid the extra subscription. He completed all. Again, max limit reach. I was like, what am I going to do now? And I didn't have any work for this guy. I just wanted to get him do something so he can get busy, you know? So I went on LinkedIn to check, like, first of all, I didn't believe him. Like, what max limit? Like, he's just trying to get out of doing work. You know, I see that the limits are actually reached. So I was like, okay, what do I do now? Because I was connecting with so many marketing managers, LinkedIn thought I was looking for a job because that's what most people do when they're connecting with people online. They want a job
look for
on
a
LinkedIn,
job.
right? So they started offering me jobs for marketing manager. I said, wait a minute. It was like influencer marketing manager. I was like, apply. I remember my staff saying, he was like, bro, you're my boss. Why would I apply for a job for you? He thinks he's just getting himself out of work. I was like, no, you idiot. I'm not going to go work for the company. But think about it. All this time you're on LinkedIn, you're messaging people, you're hitting up them, you're contacting them, personalized invites, blah, blah, commenting on their posts. Why? You do all this. Why? To get a meeting with them. I was like, you want a meeting with them? Apply for a job. I get to sit down with 30 minutes with her.
Yeah.
Undivided attention. And I get to convince her on why she should spend her money with me.
Makes sense.
So I was like, listen, this is a free way to meet every single big boss. Now, I don't advise you guys to do this, but it worked very well for me. I spoke to many marketing managers. We applied for their jobs. They'd come on call with me, and I'd tell them, listen, as soon as I get on call with them, first there's the HR manager. That one you kind of have to like hope that they pass you on to the next role.
Yep.
So you tell them like, look, they ask you, you have an agency. Why do you want to speak to a marketing manager? You say, like, I just want to see my options, you know. I might do a job if it gets me more money.
Yeah.
So then they pass you the next round.
Look into it, yeah.
Yeah, finally you're speaking to a marketing manager. And I mean, anything is possible. If they offer me like $1 million a month, I'll do the job.
$1 million a month. Yeah, that's different though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Create everything to do it.
Yeah,
$1 million a month. Yeah, why not?
So anyways, but I'm saying it's not impossible. So anyways, I speak to the marketing manager, but yeah, it's mostly like, I speak to the marketing manager and I'm like, look, I'm sorry if I waste your time, but I have a very good offer to make you. I don't want your job. I don't want to be an influencer marketing specialist for you. But I'm willing to do the job that you want to hire someone to do. I'll do it for you for free. They said, what do you mean? I said, you're hiring an influencer marketing specialist to browse through and find influencers and then find the ones that fit your brand and then contact them and arrange the deal with them and basically handle that whole procedure, right? She said, right, of course. I said, okay, I'll do that for you for free. And I only get paid on success. So normally, you're paying a salary to this person. But if I'm paid on success, that means that once I've done all the research to find you the right influencer, and I've proved to you that this influencer will make you money based on A, B, and C, demographic, audience, content, engagement rate, that I've really made my case so much so that you feel like you should spend the money, that's when I make my money, because that's when I make commission.
Yeah.
So I'm basically getting paid on success. So I said, I'll do all that for free.
That's a big risk for you though at the same time because you're doing all this work, not knowing if you can get the money out of it.
Yeah, but I'm sure if they hire, if they're a company, they're not gonna say no to a campaign, you know?
Yeah.
So I'd say it was, and plus I have a team, like you have to risk it for the biscuit, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, it's a good way. Third way, if you want to grow on LinkedIn, I have a third one for you.
Go on.
You want to grow on LinkedIn? Post job applications, even when you don't want to hire.
Really?
Yeah. So basically, every day post like 3-4 jobs. People when they apply, they want to know if what's happening with the company to know if they end up getting the job. So they end up following you. This one is a bit unethical.
Do you think that's good for building personal brand as well? LinkedIn.
Yeah, because of course, 100%.
Yeah.
But think about it. But it's a bit cynical. I'm not gonna lie. Like this one's a bit unethical. I mean, not really. They're not losing anything by following you, but they may be excited that they applied for a job.
And but you're not actually having a job.
You just
if it works, it works. The game's the game.
The game is the
The
game. At
game's
the end
the
of the
game.
day, you got a lot of followers. When someone opens your profile, they see this guy has 20,000 followers. I'm gonna do my marketing through him. If you have 100 followers, you don't know shit about marketing.
Yeah.
You can't. Your personal brand can't grow. How are you gonna grow my brand?
Yeah.
You know what I
True
mean?
say, true say.
You're like, oh, you're gonna you with your 100 followers, you're gonna tell me how to get views online, brother. Your post has 4 likes. What? How are you gonna know how to get views online?
A lot of what you're saying right now comes down to networking as well, right?
Yeah.
And so that's a part of networking. But I've also seen you on YouTube videos like Logan Paul and KSI and many other people. So for you to network and get in the rooms with them, you must have a huge networking secret that no one knows.
Yeah.
What is that secret?
Damn. You know, I've get asked this question so many times. I've had successful people tell me that they would buy a course if I had a networking course, and I don't have one. I don't think I'd make one.
Coming soon.
I don't think so. I mean, Maybe, but the thing is, I feel when it comes to networking, it's all about adding value. And it's the most basic thing, but adding value. So there's a certain art to adding value. You can't ask someone, what value can I add you? If I come to you with, hey, like, I want to help you, what can I do? I've lost already. Because now you have to work and think about something that I can do to help you with, right? And I think it was Harmozy that said that, but it makes total sense.
100%, yeah.
You have to, it's kind of something I was doing subconsciously anyways, which is always, I was thinking about, I would be looking at you and thinking about, it's like Lucifer. Have you seen Lucifer?
The program?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Lucifer, what is Lucifer's main ability?
Getting the truth out of people.
Getting their desire.
Getting the desire, yeah.
He says, what do you truly desire? Why does he say that?
Yeah.
Because when you know what someone desires and you give it to them, that person is indebted to you. You become, I don't want to say their master, but they become indebted to you. They owe you one. And now whether or not they end up coming through on that one, 9 out of 10, sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. I don't know how many times it happens, but a lot of times it might not happen. But a lot of times, if you've helped them, how can they say no to you, right?
Yeah, understandable. But let's go to the basics of networking, right? Because I'm looking at it in a perspective of outreach and reaching out to people, whether it be a Hormozy, whether it be Logan.
Okay, first message on Instagram, make it super value-based, and the value should be the first 5 words, because the first 5 words of the last message is what gets seen when you're scrolling. So when you're scrolling to the request, if you have a very good message, but it's first message and the last message is boring, they only see the last message.
Yeah.
So Instagram only shows, so I looked up how my requests came up, like from other people, and I saw that only the first 3 to 5 words of their last message would come up when I'm scrolling fast.
Yeah.
And if there's hot chicks in most people, these guys' DMs, they're not going to be reading your message. So the last 4 words would be like,
Thank you. Look forward to hearing
free.
you.
No. Yes, it can't be that.
That's what I'm saying. That's what they will see.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I always, my last few words would be like, free something, or let's say it would be like, for example, who's someone crazy I messaged? Let's say Tiger. I think I messaged him something like, come see the Tigers in the Sheikh's palace. And I didn't even have to know the Sheikh,
Yeah.
for example, at the time. But I knew that if I had Tiger with me, I could contact the Sheikh and be like, hey, bro, I have Tiger that wants to come to your forum.
Yeah.
And I did this so many times. There was a funny story.
Go on.
Have you heard the story about the girl who wanted to get her son married?
No.
So there's a woman who wants her son to get married. So she's like, son, I want you to get married. The son's like, no. So the mom is like, the mother, she's like, but the girl I want you to marry is Bill Gates' daughter. The son's like, Bill Gates' daughter? Then okay.
Of course. He's not going to do it.
Right? Then she went to Bill Gates, this mother. She went to Bill Gates and she's like, Bill Gates, I want your daughter to marry my son. Bill was like, no. She's like, but my son is the CEO of Deutsche Bank. It's like, oh, Bill Gates like, oh, your son is CEO of Deutsche Bank. Okay, then okay. Then she went to the chairman of Deutsche Bank. She said, I want you to make my son the CEO. He said, no. She said, but my son is the son-in-law of Bill Gates. The chairman was like, okay, then okay. The point is, basically, she made something out of nothing, right? So, obviously, this will never work in real life. But, I mean, technically, like, Bill Gates, the chairman of Deutsche Bank would be thinking, if Bill Gates' son-in-law is here, maybe he can bring Bill Gates' money to be in our bank. And that's a lot of money. You know, it's a dumb example, but the point is...
This is the art of finesse.
Yeah, but you made something from nothing, and there's no loss in this. This is the thing that people don't understand. When people hear this, they might see that it's cunning or it's unethical to a certain degree. I agree. It's not the most ethical thing, but there's a no-loss situation. For example, if Bill Gates, like, I mean, in this example, like, there's no loss. All of them benefited from each other, and if it didn't work out, like, let's say Bill Gates said, "Oh, he's a CEO of Deutsche Bank, I don't care."
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, he wasn't, so no loss. You know what I mean?
True say. No, it's crazy, man. Look, being 21 years old and successful, alhamdulillah, firstly.
Alhamdulillah.
Secondly, must come with a lot of discipline. So you must put yourself in positions where you know what you can do and what you shouldn't do. So let's talk about your discipline strategy.
Discipline. You know, discipline is the most important thing for success. I really believe it. I don't have any tattoos, but if I ever got one, which I never would, it would be something like discipline, you know? It's always helped me. There's a quote that I really like, which is, only the disciplined ones are free in life, you know? And you may think, what do you mean? Because a lot of people, when they think about discipline, they think about robotic movements, schedules. Every minute is booked out, right? The thing is, when it comes to discipline, it's really the truest form of self-love, because when you are disciplined, yes, you may feel like you are making yourself less free, but actually you're giving yourself more freedom. And I'll explain it in a second. So basically, if you think you want discipline, right? And you think, if you think you want freedom, everyone wants to feel like, I want to be free. If you want freedom, then you have to have discipline. So if you want, let's say, financial freedom, you want to have the freedom to spend without looking at the price, you have to work without looking at the clock. And you have to be able to push yourself to do those extra things, right? So if you, whatever type of freedom you want, you need to have the discipline to maintain that. If you want financial freedom, you have to have the discipline when it comes to work to actually put in the work. If you want, for example, let's say you have time in a day, right? If you want to really enjoy that, let's say, 1 hour of relaxing with a cigar at night, you have to make sure that by that point at night, you have completed enough work so that when it comes down to the actual moment, you can actually truly relax. So a lot of the times, people will try to be free, but they'll do what actually they want to do. But while they're doing it, they can't really be present in it because they're thinking about whatever work they have pending, which they have not finished yet.
Yeah.
So by being disciplined, they think that some people may think that they're being put into a box or they're being forced to follow certain strict guidelines, but it's actually giving them more freedom because they're allowing to choose how to value their, now they have time to actually allocate to things. So they can actually decide now how they want to spend their time. So by being disciplined, they actually have more freedom than by being not disciplined, you know? Now they can choose how much time to spend on each task, and also when it comes to the actual time for relaxing, they actually enjoy it more. You know what I mean?
I'll give you a great example. Yesterday, I went down to the shop.
Yeah.
I bought a drink and I bought a chocolate. And I saw on YouTube, there was a great podcast video to watch. Funny enough, the guy's name was Ahmad Mahmood. So I was watching that podcast.
Really?
But I said to myself, yeah, it was that one. So I said to myself, though, I'm not going to touch this drink. I'm not going to watch this podcast. I'm not going to eat this chocolate until all my work is done. Because in that way, I can truly, truly relax. Regardless of how long it takes, I don't care how long this work takes. It must be complete. Until then, I won't do anything. I must complete this work. Once I do, then I can sit on the sofa, pop this drink open, put the podcast on, eat the chocolate, and enjoy myself and truly relax. Because that's, once again, going back to it, you know you've done the work. You know you've done what you need to do.
Exactly.
The dopamine level's up. Now when I'm sitting in this chair, if I hadn't done my work, I'll be sitting in this chair like,
Exactly.
oh, I haven't done it.
Yeah,
I need to do it.
So you're not free.
Yeah, you're not free like that. When you're truly free is when you've done what you need to do.
And how good did that chocolate taste at that?
10-10, bro. 10-10.
More better than how it would have
Better
tasted
than
before.
100%.
Because you earned it.
Yeah, literally, bro. Literally.
You deserved it.
Yeah, that's it.
You didn't deserve it earlier.
You need
didn't do anything for it.
You need to deserve these things.
Yeah.
These small little things in life that give you that dopamine, you need to be able to deserve them. You need to go through the hard work. You need to put in the discipline. You need to do all these sort of things
Exactly.
for you to get
See,
the
the
full
pain
enjoyment
in life
of
is
it.
unavoidable. Yeah?
Yeah.
Like, you'll always have the discomfort. You'll always have pain.
Yeah.
Richest families, biggest things. Pain is unavoidable.
Yeah.
But always better to sign up for the pain up front. Tell yourself, I'm going to go through the pain. When you sign up for it up front, you're ready to let it, you're ready for it, and you're ready for it to improve you. Like, for example, the pain of going to the gym leads you to that good feeling after, and you stay good for a while after. The cold shower makes you scientifically boost your dopamine, I think 40% above baseline after, you know?
Yeah.
So when you sign up for that pain, whereas if you don't, it leads to, you eat that one sugar bar, leads to, or let's say you eat that like big, nasty dessert, leads to weeks of like fat and lethargy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That habit, it's always the things that give you instant happiness first that give you long-term sadness. The things that give you instant pain first give you long-term happiness, you know? So, yeah.
I'm going to throw it back to business because you're a marketing man. Now, more recently, entrepreneurs I've had on have always banged on about newsletters, right? And they're saying it's a huge thing to do. Newsletters. What's your opinion on it?
I absolutely love newsletters. I actually have my own one. And the thing about newsletters is people don't understand is, and I don't find it that a lot of people have one. I feel like more people should have them. People do like Telegram groups and Discords. If you're trying to build a community, the number one thing you can do is newsletters. The thing is with newsletters, first of all, I'll give you 3 reasons why. Number one, newsletters, Instagram is a busy place. You have a new video, you drop it. You promote it where? Instagram story.
Yeah.
Now, when I'm on Instagram and I'm scrolling through hundreds of funny videos and the most entertaining content in the world is being shown at me, do you think I'm going to leave Instagram to open a YouTube video? It's unlikely. The app is too enjoyable. So, whereas when I'm on email and I'm reading thousands of boring texts, the best thing, the thing that's going to make me the most happy is to find an opportunity to leave Gmail. So, That's one thing. Instagram is too enjoyable to leave, and email is too boring to stay.
Okay, yeah.
That's number one.
Yep.
Number two is that when it comes to an email, when you get that notification, let's say someone subscribes to your YouTube channel, they have notifications on, all right, which is amazing. You think you've completed the mission. Let me ask you a question. How many notifications do you think this guy gets from YouTube a day?
A lot, probably.
A lot. And how often does he look at them twice? He doesn't care about them. He probably doesn't read them. They're probably subconsciously just floating. He probably just clears them every morning.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about them. An email notification. When that email notification comes in, it's usually either work, school, some important assignment. Like it's either if you're a corporate, it's your boss, or it's a client, or it's an assignment or university professor. So emails, you always look at it 2-3 times. You always like focus on it. This could be something important. So that's number two. The notification is much more, you pay much more attention to an email notification than a YouTube notification. Now, the third thing is, this one's a bit unethical, but on a Telegram or on a Discord or on a WhatsApp group or on an Instagram, this community group,
Yep.
it's public. Whatever you say is viewed by everyone. Now, why does Iman Ghazi, for example, why does he focus on email marketing for his course? Have you ever seen email marketing promoting his course on Instagram stories?
No, I haven't.
Why does he do it on email? Email, when you do something on email, I'm not saying that he does this, but when you promote something on email, it's individual. Now, automatically with a system, I can make every email I send go out with your name on it. So I can't do that in a group chat. I can't individually write each person's name.
Yeah, it's personal.
It's personal. It's between me and you only, supposedly, in your
Yeah.
mind. It's not. I don't even know who you are. But it comes between me and you.
Yeah.
Now, I can tell you whatever I want. I can tell you, and this is one way of utilizing it, which I don't advise, but you can say like, I have a 5% sale only for you, Raheem. How would you know? Or let's say I told you like, this week is a sale by chance, right? And you just subscribe for the newsletter. But I've been running an autoresponder that 3 days after anyone signs up, they get an email saying this weekend is a sale for the first time in history. And you don't have any proof that, you don't know that I did it before. And someone can sign up to the newsletter 1 year after and get that same email 3 days after. So these are the more unethical ways of using that option. But there are very ethical ways where you can, that personalization, that hint of personalization really helps you. Let's say if you're just promoting a new video and your videos are good for people, right? When someone watches your video, it's good for them. They're going to improve their lives because of it.
That's it, yep.
So if you're promoting a new video, by you having that email newsletter, by you persuading people or convincing people to watch your video, it actually helps you. It actually helps them, sorry. Both of you guys, but it helps them as well.
Yeah.
The point is that you're not trying to sell them something. You're actually trying to, they're actually improving their lives because of it. It's better that they watch your video than they watch some random Kardashian or like, you know,
random rubbish.
Logan Paul vlog.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about email, you know, it comes, first of all, it's personal. You can say whatever you want. You can have an offer. You can say like, you can have any type of offer you want that's personalized. There's an autoresponder. So let's say when I have an email, on my newsletter, I have on an email newsletter, you can have, don't say that I have one, but on an email newsletter, you can have an autoresponder. So for 9 days, they get emails. So, and the 9th email is like, let's say a call to action for whatever you want. So I'm not saying that I do this, but people out there, they don't even write the emails to the people. It's just automatically. When you sign up, you get emails, let's say for 1 month, and you think that every day they're writing a new email. It's all automatic. So they've all set that up, and it's fully passive. Whereas again, on Telegram, once they add, they don't see the old messages. You have to send new messages. Another issue.
One of the main things that sticks out to me, but that Telegram versus emails, is you're collecting data along the way.
Yeah.
Telegram, what are you collecting? Nothing really. Maybe
Yeah,
a
the
phone
Telegram
number at
chats.
most. Telegram username. Who cares about Telegram username? But email marketing, next level.
People never change their emails.
Yes.
How often have you heard someone say, "Oh, I changed my email"?
No one.
Most of the time, they're embarrassed. Their email's like something like when they've been in high school.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Nobody says like, "Oh, like my email's busy. I'm gonna make a new email." Nobody does that
Yeah.
because maybe they have too many important stuff that's there. You know?
Do you have an email? Do you have a newsletter?
Yeah, I have a newsletter, and my newsletter is really good value. If you want, I know it sounds it sounds like it's bullshit, but there's actually good nuggets of wisdom which I've kept in that newsletter for people who are like my core fans.
I mean, I can believe it because what you just said on the podcast probably rice grain of the knowledge and the value that you get.
Yeah, I
from
feel like in the
newsletters.
newsletter, I really show how to make money, more specifically in the influencer marketing agency field, and more specific advice, you know? Obviously, like, I can't write, I don't want to go on paragraphs here about certain topics, you know? But on the email newsletter, it's there. If you want to read, like, paragraphs of, like, in-depth how to make specific, you know? The specifics are there. Here, I can only talk about generals.
How many people do you have subscribed to your newsletter?
Around 10,000.
Okay, so now my following question is, how do you get people to subscribe to your newsletter?
So you make so my annotated video.
Yep.
I had a link in the bio, which is how Ahmad Mahmood made all his money.
How what? Sorry.
How Ahmad Mahmood made all his money.
Okay.
That was the big question mark in people's mind.
Yeah.
So have a big question mark and reveal it. You have to reveal it, but reveal half of it. The other half, tell them you reveal it on email. So basically, find out what your people want. Everything is back to what I said. Find out what people desire and then giving them the desire. That's life. So you say, hey, I'm going to reveal, let's say for you, I'm going to reveal how I get the biggest guests on my podcast. Or I'm going to reveal how I made one of the #1 business podcasts, right? Then you have a link, which is a link to your website. It goes to your website. It's a video of you talking. And you reveal half of it. And you say the other half in the newsletter. They have signed up to the newsletter. But the point is, it's a funnel.
Yeah.
Things don't work automatically.
It's all a funneling system.
Everything is funnels.
Yeah.
Because it's easy when why do crypto pumps and dumps go on Discord or Telegram? Why? Because when you're in that community, like my relative who owned the car showroom always told me, Ahmed, it's 10 times easier to make a person buy a car when they're in the showroom than when they're at home, right? Doesn't matter what you tell them in the beginning. Don't convince them on buying the car. Just convince them to come to the showroom. Because once they come to the showroom and they see people crowding around the car and they see people taking pictures of the car and they see the car in real life, they want to buy it, right? So in the beginning, when I used to tell them to come to the showroom, come have a coffee. I don't tell them, come look at the car. Come have a coffee. Come check out this super cool TV I got or whatever. I got let's say, like now I have the VR headset, the Apple VR. Come check it out. Some reason to bring them to the showroom. Once they're there, the next step.
Yeah.
Because once they're there, like once they're in the Telegram and they see everyone hyping out about this coin, they want to buy the coin. This is the community thing,
That's how it works.
Yeah. So funnels are the best way to sell something. Don't sell something directly straight,
I'm interested to know, a lot of entrepreneurs journal their journeys.
Yeah.
Have you done that?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a big fan of journaling. So my journal, it's interesting you asked me this. I'm a big fan of journaling. Now I know like Hormozi says like, you have a 3-hour work routine, just go straight to work. And I love Hormozi and I agree with that on a broad scale. If you can sit down, get up and do work directly, do it. For me, I have certain things in my mind. Maybe I'm not as mentally strong as Hormozi, or maybe I just have found benefits in this gratitude journaling that I do it. So I have 2 types of journaling. One is like a mental dump. So 2 parts of my journal. One part is mental dump. So basically I write whatever thoughts are in my head. So for example,
Anything and everything.
Yes.
Okay.
So sometimes, if I ask you right now, Rahim, you know math?
Yeah.
Okay, what's 5 times 5 times 7 plus 4 divided by 5?
I don't know that much math.
But you know math. Like you could do 5 times 5, right?
Yeah, 25.
But you can't do it when it's that long.
Yeah.
Now we have these insanely complex problems in our head.
Yep.
And we try to solve them in our head with a million different variables, a million different people involved and feelings and everyone you're trying to please and every single objective you're trying to complete. And we try to solve it all in our head. It's not going to work. Sometimes you need to give some distance between you and the issue so you can look at it objectively, unemotionally. Your head is an emotional space. You can, when it's on paper, they say a problem well stated is half the problem solved, which is the truth. You articulate the exact problem that you're going through or the exact thought, and now you can look at it and say, okay, how do I solve this? You know what I mean? You've given yourself some distance from it. It's very hard to unthink yourself out of a situation when you're in it. Like when you're in the situation, it's very hard to think about what to do with it. When you're outside, most people, they can easily say like, oh, in this situation, do this, do this. But when they actually get in the situation, it's very hard to do it because when you're in something, it's hard to think clearly, So that's half the journal. Just writing down my thoughts, getting them out of my head. For me, I overthink. So when I write them down, I feel like it's out. I can think about the next thought. Yeah, I'm not trying to hold certain thoughts. I'm trying to think about what to do about this. Everything's written down. My head is clear.
Yeah.
That's number 1.
Makes sense.
Gratitude journaling. The other half of the journal, I write what I'm grateful for. And I got this from Hamza, which is a very popular YouTuber. But basically, you have to write long sentences about what you're grateful for every morning. At least 1, if you can do, at least 3. If you can't do 3, do 1. One thing that you're grateful for every morning. But you have to write a full sentence. This is the thing. You can't just write, I'm grateful for coffee. You'd write, for example, I'm grateful for this cup of coffee because when I drink coffee, it gives me a certain amount of mental stimulation and cognitive bandwidth, which when I have that, I think of good ideas. When I have these good ideas, I can make more money. Now, every time I look at this cup of coffee, I look at it like a way of like improving my life drastically, Or I can even expand on that. When I have more money, I can feed my family. And now when I'm drinking this coffee, I'm thinking about my grandmother in a Bentley. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing about a shower. Like when today I'm grateful for my shower because my shower gives me warm water on the spot, which a lot of people don't have. It gives me warm water instantly in a moment, which relaxes me. When I'm relaxed, I feel calm. And when I feel calm, I can think about more ways to make money again. Or I can think about any issue which I have in my life and I feel more relaxed about it. And now every time you look at your shower, you look at it differently, like a money earner for you, or something that solves all your problems, or that helps you solve all your problems, in a way that, like, so you're giving more meaning to the things around you. The small things we have, we overlook it sometimes. And a lot of people don't have it, the shoes that we wear. So in my gratitude journal, I have the most random things. Like, I could write about the buttons on my shirt that keep my shirt closed, I could write about, like, the laces on my shoes, anything. But the point is, when you get deep enough, these things really add to your life. You don't know what you do without them. And it really makes you think about everything in a different perspective. And then the best thing about it is, if you ever have a bad day, you come back and you have 10 pages of things to be grateful for, to look back on. So if I ever have a bad day, I go back on the journal, I look at 10 pages of things that I should have been grateful for. And my day is
Uplifts
really
you.
good.
Yeah.
And also, the last thing, the last reason, the first reason was that I feel grateful for things and I don't go overlook them. The second reason is that if I have a bad day, I can look through them. And the third reason is that whenever I go throughout my day now, I'm thinking, what should I write about tomorrow? And I'm looking through the day and I'm thinking about what should I write about. But the point is, I'm looking for things to be grateful for, which is exactly the place you want to be. You want to be going through life looking for things to be grateful for, So I'm constantly trying to think, like, I could be grateful for this friend. But my mind is thinking, what should I be grateful for today? Which is exactly the thought process. 'Cause after some time, it gets tiring, by the way. You've written about a lot of things. You don't have things to write about instantly anymore. You have to really think about them. So it puts you in this constant zone of thinking, Ahmed, what should I be grateful for? It's like green car syndrome. When you think about green car,
You're going to see green cars.
exactly.
Yeah.
So when you're thinking about things to be grateful for, you see so many of them. The amount of green cars on the road didn't change, but your attention to them
looking
changed.
for it, yeah.
The amount of blessings in your life when you start to gratitude journal about them don't change, but your attention towards them have changed, and now you see more of them. So I see so many things in my life I should be grateful for. It's not changed, but I've just focused on them.
It happens. Look, we're running out of time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to end on the last final couple of points. You're a marketing man.
Yeah.
Through and through. Now, we mentioned earlier in this podcast, probably about 15 minutes ago, about Iman and, how he markets through his newsletter. Iman, he was obviously always around, always popular, but more so in the last year or two, shot up massively, rise to fame. What do you think his marketing strategy was?
So Iman is a good-looking guy, which people also don't think about a lot. It helps. That sounds weird. That's the first thing, but it's not something that people think about. But decently looking guy. The thing is, he's documented a lot of his journey, so people can see the place he's come from this young kid who had, like, a lot of the issues that people have, single parent. So he's really gone through it, and people have seen that journey. But I think a lot of his strategy comes from some things which he does, which are, let's say, when I brought more vlogs to his house, I introduced more vlogs to him, he ended up giving more vlogs a Rolex, And a lot of these things.
Oh, yeah, I saw that, yeah.
He gives a lot of YouTubers Rolexes.
Yes.
And I think those YouTubers end up becoming indebted to him. Kind of like what I said about adding value.
Iman, when we do our podcast, yeah? I'm messing. No, but he's rose to fame massively. Like, he's on a rocket ship, right?
So yeah, Iman, I think, like, it was just about, like, he did that as well. And there's a lot of smart things which he did. And it all added up, A very smart guy, very hardworking, really puts in his shift, Yeah.
No, fairs. And marketing, man, you got a SaaS company with over 280 million influencers on it. So where am I, bro? Where's my P's? Where's the cut? Where's the deal coming through?
Bro,
surely I'm listed on the website. Like, we've got to talk,
bro,
we got to talk.
The brands have to request you, bro. I can take the horse to the water, but I can't make them drink.
Oh, we're bringing that line onto it. We're bringing that line to it.
They look at you, bro. They just scroll past, bro. What can I do? No, I'm joking.
No, of course.
I'll try to put you premium. I'll give you SEO.
Look, what's the final message you want to leave for your audience who are watching right now?
My final message: be close to God. His love will help you in more ways that you know. Work hard even when you don't feel like it. This is also from Hamza. But the point is, go to the gym, start one foot in front of the other in life, there's so many things that you can do to be successful, and sometimes you start thinking about all the different things. And when you want to be a hardworking guy, you always give yourself this long checklist of things which you have to do every day. And when you don't do them, you're dissatisfied. You go back to sleep, you're sad, you're upset because you didn't get to do everything. One foot in front of the other. It's not simple. Life's not all the way up. There's ups and downs, you know. As long as every day you're getting 1% better, that's habits. It's all about the habits. Yeah. Every day, implement one good habit, remove one bad habit, you know. First, you make your habits, and then your habits make you. So if you want to focus on your long-term growth, that reading that 1 page every day or reading that 2 page, those stuff really add up eventually, you know?
Yeah, fair.
So if I had one thing to say, it'd be habits.
Ahmed, I want to thank you ever so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you, brother. It was a pleasure. I really appreciate
and
you
sharing your knowledge and all the value that you have to offer, bro. It's been absolutely unreal. And make sure if you're watching this right now to sign up to the newsletter, subscribe to his channel, follow him on Instagram. Everything will be in the link in the description, because if you thought this podcast was valuable in itself, Ahmed has so much more to offer outside of CEOCAST. So
I appreciate you, bro.
I want to appreciate you for coming on, and I want to appreciate you for being one of my brothers. So
my guy.
That's the main thing.
We've had a good relationship, and I feel like now this is the start. I feel like we'll be hanging out a lot more, especially now since you're in Dubai. I hope your company thing got set up here.
Yeah, we're setting everything up, bro. Inshallah,
Nice.
we will make it run, bro. Until then, guys, make sure you tune in for next Sunday's episode and simply subscribe. That's all I'll ask you to do. These episodes are completely for free, giving you all this value. I just need you guys to subscribe.
You guys should definitely subscribe. I see the work Raheem puts in for you guys. He's really doing it for his community. He really loves his community. He wants to give them the best. I see the amount of stress he goes through to make these videos happen. So you guys should support him.
Hopefully by now, Ahmed's going to help me set up a newsletter. So make sure you go in the description right now and sign up that newsletter.
I'll help you for a cost, but it's fine.
That's
I'm
fine,
joking,
bro.
I'm joking.
All right, guys, I'll catch you a lot in the next episode. Peace. Lovely. I enjoyed that a lot.